Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from AS120, Semester 4 and Group 3. Today we are going to present about bird diversity in UiTM Tapah. My name is Muhammad Nazirul bin Ramli, and from the right one is Nurul Alisa Afirah binti Zainuddin, and from the left one is Nur Farhanis Hadirah binti Roslan.
Introduction to birds. Birds are classified under the class of aves, constitute a varied group of vertebrates recognized by their possession of feathers, beaks lacking teeth, the laying of hard-shelled eggs, and a high metabolic rate. They inhabit diverse ecosystems across the globe, spanning from polar regions to tropical forests, and showcase notable adaptations for flight, diving, and terrestrial movement. So the objectives of this field study are to determine the diversity of bird species within UiTM Tapah and to study on the issues of the findings of bird species in UiTM Tapah. So the next part of the introduction of birds, we will be discussing about the taxonomic diversity and the characteristics of birds. So taxonomic diversity of birds. Birds are members of the class of aves, encompass over 10,400 species spread across 40 order and over 200 families, and distinguished by their possession of feathers, a defining feature setting them apart from all other animal groups. So the first characteristic of birds is feathers. Birds possess feathers that fulfill multiple roles, including insulation, flight, and ornamental display. These feathers develop from specialized follicles within the skin and are composed primarily of keratin. So the next characteristic of birds is bipedal. Birds predominantly move about on two legs, indicating that they are primarily bipedal. Their skeletal structure, which includes adaptations such as lightweight bones with hollow interiors and a specialized pelvic structure, facilitates this mode of locomotion.
For this study field, we use observation as methodology to collect sampling data. We have collected data by observing several species of birds that exist and live around UiTM Tapah Perak. Birds were identified visually and through their call. This method entails identifying every bird we see or hear while standing at a series of points along the transect. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and captured them by video. After a few days doing an observation, we found several species of bird and For the analysis part, after classifying all the species we've been identified, we found out that crow and sparrow is the most abundant species and stroke is the least abundant species found in UiTM Tapah. Me and my group have decided to take 3 species of bird as our result. The first one is called Astralidia. This was found under class Aves and the order is Passeriformes. We found it that the family is Passeroidea and the genus is Amadina. These species were called common waxbill. The second one is called Kikonidia. We found that the species is open bill and it is under the genus Anastomus. The last one is the most common species that found in UITM Tapa is Corvus. Corvus is under family or Corvidia, and the species that we found is Orvus correct. This is under the class of Aves, also same as Kikonidia and Estreldidia.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Nazir bin Ramli. I'm going to talk about discussion. First, the method that we use for this project is videographic. Due to the size and safety, by catching them might hurt and have a reality that the birds could die by catching them. Second, the observation for this project is to determine the diversity of bird species within UiTM Tapa and study on the issue of the finding of bird species in UiTM Tapa. This shows that we managed to obtain the objective successfully because we found a lot of species for this project. The species that we found was house sparrow, flamingo, and the hornbill. This species not exotic but quite difficult to see in other place. And the place that we found most of the birds in UiTM Tapa is Tasik Alpha. But it appears that the environment in UiTM Tapa poses a challenge for growth and survival of the birds, especially for the flamingo. One of the factors for birds was the habitat modification, such as infrastructure renovation and the climate changes. It is because hot weather and rainstorm season in Malaysia are not certain. Because we all know that birds will immigrate to find a better habitat for their reproduction and their life cycle. The lack of food sources in the environment could contribute to the poor health and survival of the birds. And the last one, insufficient of nutrition may weaken the birds and making them not interested to live in UiTM Tapa.
So, we have arrived to the last part of this field study, which is the conclusion. In conclusion, we found that the campus is home to a diverse range of birds. This indicates that UiTM Tapa provides a habitat that supports many different bird species. However, we also discovered challenges such as habitat fragmentation, human activities impacting birds, and the presence of invasive species. These findings emphasize the importance of taking steps to protect the birds and their habitats on campus. By addressing these issues, UiTM Tapa can continue to support a healthy and diverse bird population, contributing to conservation efforts in the area.